A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John, chapter 21, verses 1 to 19. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. After this, Jesus appeared again to the disciples, this time at the Tiberias Sea, the Sea of Galilee. This is how he did it. Simon Peter, Thomas, nicknamed Twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the brothers Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. Simon Peter announced, "I'm going fishing." The rest of them replied, "We're going with you." They went out and got in the boat. They caught nothing that night. When the sun came up, Jesus was standing on the beach, but they didn't recognize him. Jesus spoke to them. "Good morning. Did you catch anything for breakfast?" They answered, "No." He said, "Throw the net off the right side of the boat and see what happens." They did what he said. All of a sudden, there were so many fish in it, they weren't strong enough to pull it in. Then the disciple Jesus loved said to Peter, "It's the Master." When Simon Peter realized that it was the Master, he threw on some clothes, for he was stripped for work, and dove into the sea. The other disciples came in by boat, for they weren't far from the land, 100 yards or so, pulling along the net full of fish. When they got out of the boat, they saw a fire laid with fish and bread cooking on it. Jesus said, "Bring some of the fish you've just caught." Simon Peter joined them and pulled the net to the shore, 153 big fish. And even with all those fish, the net didn't rip. Jesus said, "Breakfast is ready." Not one of the disciples dare ask, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Master. Jesus then took the bread and gave it to them. He did the same with the fish. This is now the 3rd time Jesus had shown himself alive to the disciples since being raised from the dead. After breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Master, you know I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." He then asked a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Master, you know I love you." Jesus said, "Shepherd my sheep." Then he said it a 3rd time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was so upset that he asked for the 3rd time, "Do you love me?" So he answered, "Master, you know everything there is to know. You've got to know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. I'm telling you the very truth now. When you were young, you dressed yourself and went wherever you wished. But when you get old, you'll have to stretch out your hands while someone else dresses you and takes you where you don't want to go." He said this to hint at the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. And then he commanded, "Follow me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Good morning. I am Father Joseph Matthew, and this is Coffee with God. Today is the 3rd Sunday of Easter on 4th of May, and we reflect on the Holy Gospel according to St. John chapter 21, verses 1 to 19. Fishers of Hope. As we journey through this Jubilee Year of Pilgrims of Hope, today's Gospel speaks to our spiritual pilgrimage. The scene unfolds at the Lake of Galilee, where the disciples find themselves with empty nets after a night of fishing. How often do we too return to old habits when we feel disheartened or uncertain about our paths? Peter's experience mirrors our own spiritual journey. Despite having followed Jesus, he reverts to his former life. "I'm going fishing," he says. This retreat to familiarity in times of confusion is deeply human. Like Peter, we sometimes neglect prayer substitute meaningful family conversations with distractions, or abandon charity when life becomes demanding. These backward steps leave us with empty nets and unfulfilled hearts. The beauty of this gospel lies in Jesus' response. He doesn't reproach the disciples but tenderly calls them children and invites them to cast their nets again. In this Jubilee year, Christ offers us the same invitation to begin anew with Him, to push into deeper waters despite our disappointments. When Peter hears it is the Lord, he dives impulsively towards Jesus. What a beautiful imagery for our pilgrimage of hope. The Jubilee calls us to this same spontaneous love, to move beyond calculations and convenience towards Christ with renewed enthusiasm. Do you love me? Jesus asks Peter 3 times, and he asks us the same question today. Our pilgrimage is not primarily about knowledge, but about love. Our response to this question determines whether we will continue fishing as before or embark on the true pilgrimage of discipleship. As pilgrims of hope in this Jubilee year, we are invited to dive courageously into the good without fear of loss, without excessive calculations, without waiting for others to begin. May Our Lady, who promptly said yes to God, help us rediscover the impulse to do good as we journey forward in hope.